Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Service Without Excuses podcast. Glad to be with you here today. And I want to thank again our sponsor, as always, SoTellus, SoTellus.com/Robmlyon, Lyon, like the city in France, not like the king of the jungle. Again, it's SoTellus.com/Robmlyon, Lyon. Check out a demo. We love it. We use it in our own business, New Jersey's best. It's great to capture reviews and feedback from our customers for many reasons. Number one, we want to find out and eliminate any issues we may have with them in the first place, something we didn't see coming, and we want to make sure that the quality control is up and where it needs to be, and also, to distribute those reviews out to get new work and new customers and develop a really solid online reputation. So go check them out today. I think you'll really like them. Also, please, if you get a chance, and we certainly appreciate, please go to our YouTube channel if you're watching this on that and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts at, no matter whether it's Spotify, iTunes, or you can check us out at robmlyon.com and sign up for our list. We have a whole bunch of content that goes out to our members and people that sign up for email. There is no commitment. We do not spam you. We do not bother you. We just give you some information, interviews we have, some different pieces of marketing materials we get from our guests that we can distribute to our email subscribers. So thank you so much for listening to us. One of the things I want to talk about today, or actually the major thing I want to talk about today, is a sense of urgency. So I'm here in New Jersey, and there's a lot of great businesses in New Jersey, so I'm not bundling anybody in that area, but I've seen it across the board, not just New Jersey, the tri-state area in general, New York, Pennsylvania, but I've seen it a lot. There's a sense, or lack thereof, sense of urgency in getting back to customers in a timely manner. So I had a customer that booked us to do a job, and we called her back, and we apologized because we couldn't pick it up immediately. It was about 20, 30 minutes into it. Our phones were just really, really crazy that day. Email orders were coming in like crazy. So, we dropped the ball. We didn't get them as quick as we wanted to. And she said, that's okay. And I says, well, it's not really okay. We shouldn't have waited this long to get back to you. She goes, no, you don't understand. I've called 3 different companies before you, and none of them have gotten back to us. I says, well, maybe they're just really slammed like us. She goes, no, I'm going back about a week or 2 at this point. So I went, wow, are you serious? Like, you contacted 3 local companies to do a job and nobody got back in touch with you? To do what we do, by the way, which is, in and out, usually in one day, usually part of a day. It's not usually, it takes all day to do one job. We usually do multiple jobs on each truck per day. So that really got me thinking here, do businesses have a sense of urgency? So I have a large pool here at the house. The pool is big. It's an inherited pool. When I met my wife, she had it here. And it's approximately 24 by, I believe, 46 or 48. It's 45,000 gallons of water. When we go to the pool store, they see me walking in and they go, how much is it going to cost this time? They're pretty much laughing because they're going, man, we know the pool. You have the largest pool in the area. We know that's a giant pain in the butt to maintain. But they know me because of that. And one of the problems we've had in the past is getting qualified being a key word, and responsible pool people to come out to the house. You only need them a certain time of the year. You need them, coming out of spring and throughout the summer, and then by the fall it's done. So their season is very, very small. It's only quarter of the year, maybe a little bit more at most. And getting people to come out in a timely manner to do it is tough. It's very tough to have them come out. They'll say, I'll be about Wednesday. Now, I have found the bigger companies, the more reputable companies, and by far the more expensive companies, and you get what you pay for, do show up when they're supposed to show up. They say, we'll be here Wednesday between 12 and 3. They're there Wednesday between 12 and 3. The other guys, not so much, if you can even get a phone call back. So my whole point of this discussion, this recording of this podcast today is a sense of urgency dead? Does it matter anymore? Does anybody really care if you're responsive to get back to them? Have the bar been dropped so low that customers today are pretty much set that they're not going to get great customer service, that they're not going to get a sense of urgency, they're not going to get somebody to come and contact them in a timely manner and show up in a responsible manner? And the answer is yes, it has kind of died off. I do believe companies that embrace this and capitalize upon it and have a organized sense of attention to detail can get it done. Now, listen, there are peak times of the year where things are crazy. I get it. I have a friend that has HVAC business, and we've had a number of days, 100-plus degrees in a row. Now, for New Jersey, for Florida, that's pretty common to have high temperatures. For New Jersey, it's not. So we have multiple days at that. The air conditioners are running nonstop. They're not meant to run every day for 6 months a year. Here, they're meant to run, a day or two where it's hot and then go away. But if it runs like a week or so or plus in a row like that where they're not shutting off at all, it's very unlikely and very taxing on the machine. So, of course, their business is over the top. When they get hit hard to a point where they can't even answer their phones anymore. It's so overloaded that they couldn't get back to somebody for a week or two, and it doesn't matter. Those rare times happen, okay? And that's understandable. You may not get the quick phone call back because everybody and their cousin, including in the company, and I'm sure the ownership, is out there taking care of the jobs that are coming in a timely manner. And they realize that if they take your job on, they probably can't get you for a week. And when it's 100 degrees and your AC doesn't work, a week is not really the greatest option in the world to hear. So, those are rare circumstances where you can't get it. A contractor is so booked up that it's that far out. However, that contractor should tell the customer it's a 6 to 8 week time frame before I can even get started. It might take whatever, but I can't get onto your job site for 6 to 8 weeks. All they have to do is meet the requirements of the job and the expectations, rather, of the job and see what seems to matter most. But instead, a lot of them just take the deposit and then show up whenever they feel like showing up, whenever they have a break. Might not be bad people, but they're not handling it correctly. They're not handling it with the sense of urgency that is required to job. And again, a sense of urgency does not mean you're going to be running to the job. It means you're going to make a connection with the customer and let them know these are the expectations, this is our timeline. So, for example, if I have to order a certain product, some of the products we deal with here at New Jersey's Best, I know I have to order them out, 3-4 weeks in advance. I'm not going to get them if I need them tomorrow. It's just not possible. It's just the way things have changed. Logistics have not improved that much since the beginning of COVID to where I can get those things in a few days. I know I have to order them in advance. Another thing is one of the products we also do is called Color Seal, and everybody is, we order it to match what the customers are ordering. So we don't have spare Color Seal sitting here because, frankly, we might do one color. We don't do it that often enough to leave it sitting here and drying out or just going to waste to order in larger quantities. So we order it to spec to the job. When a customer has, say, 350 square feet and he cleaned and color sealed, we order enough for the 350 square feet. We actually order a little bit more, about 400 square feet on our dime, whatever that happens to be, to give the customer a little bit extra just in case, and also to have something to match up to when they try to do it, usually down the road. But at least if something has to be touched up, we can either come back and touch it up, or if the customer says, you know what, I can do it myself. I don't even need to call the guys to come back out. It's so simple. Fine, but we always order enough because no dye lot is going to match. So we need to make sure we have enough to leave them if need be, and to go back and touch up if we have to too as well. So, we have to be responsible to think about that. We also have to let them know, hey, it's going to be a week out or 2 weeks out to get this sealer in. We order a high-grade product. The inexpensive products you can buy in the box stores, they last, maybe a month or two, and then they're falling out. This stuff can last years if you treat it correctly. But it doesn't come quickly. It doesn't come overnight. It takes, time to get it. But we're managing the expectations and saying we can color match this product. It takes a day or two to get the color match down, and then it takes usually about 3 days or so to get the product shipped up from where we get it in Florida. So we're 5 days out, 6 days out before we can get the product to even do the job. And, of course, we schedule the job, where we can go out there and clean it. And generally, 9 to 10 times we color seal it the same day. We wait till it's completely dry, and then we color seal it afterwards. But there are times where it's a bigger job, or we have mixed jobs where we come back and we'll clean it one day. We'll seal it. Again, all this is about maintaining expectations, maintaining a sense of urgency to the customer's needs. Again, they're the customer's needs. We are in a day today where instant satisfaction, instant gratification is just the norm, okay? People are expecting they can go online, they can go to Amazon, they can go wherever, and they can just order something that's done. So much so that on our website, New Jersey's Best, we have a real-time online booking platform. I'm not talking about just you can book an appointment online. It's simple. We have that as well, where you can put in your information and we'll get back to you. No, you can literally go onto our schedule and look at things in real time when we're in your area and schedule the job, and we have nothing to do with it other than the email comes in saying, Mrs. Jones or Mrs. Smith has booked the job in that time frame. We've made it convenient for them to actually book. It's an expensive platform. It costs us a fortune every single year. But the advantage to it is it runs 24/7, no matter what. And if a customer needs instant satisfaction, instant gratification, and they can't get us on the phone because we're 30 minutes delayed, like I explained at the beginning of the podcast, it's not a big deal. They can book it online and be done, as the saying goes. So we keep the customer's sense of urgency and sense of detail at the forefront of our business, making it as simple and the best experience they can have is what we want to do. To grow this business as we've been able to do is because we always are at the forefront of the sense of urgency, always having things, not offering services that we can't meet and demand. Okay, so last year in the past, we had done paver work where we cleaned and we sealed and we sanded. Now, when you go and you do a job like that, you have rain is a big factor, of course, in doing this. Now, you can clean the pavers when there's a little bit of rain going on. Thunder and lightning, of course not, but it could be practically pouring, and we'll put a raincoat on and we'll go and clean it because we're going to get wet anyway. You're going to get messy anyway. The next day, we need a number of hours where there's no water to put the sand or to sand and fill the sand, which is a joint stabilization or labeled as sand. It's called polymeric sand. It's the sand we use, and that's a hardener. And it has to be put on within, approximately several hours before no rain, and of course, an hour or two, I think, at least minimum afterwards, where we can put it down. So now I have a tight window. When it comes to a sealer, a solvent-based sealer, we're talking 8 hours of no moisture on the pavers, which means if you had a little bit of rain the night before or a little bit of humidity, you've got to let that sit for a number of hours. It might be later in the day before you can even seal it. My point is, it can't be done day 1, day 2, day 3. It just never works out that way. So we had to play a constant struggle with scheduling things with our regular business, our regular jobs, and then have weather as a factor where we couldn't necessarily get out there till sometimes over the weekends, which involves overtime. We had to look at all the variables when it came to cleaning these pavers and making sure it was a viable thing that we could do in a timely manner. And again, meeting our customers' demands. We never accept one penny for the most part before, unless it's a bigger job. We're fronting everything ourselves. But we had to make sure we can meet the demands, saying, it's going to take a period of 2 weeks. Between that 2 weeks, it's going to get done. If you have a party coming up this Saturday, we need to be aware of that because it might not happen depending on weather. Not because we can't schedule them 1, 2, 3, but if that poor inclement weather comes in, it's going to affect what we're going to do. Long story short, pushing forward, we decided to opt back out of that style of business. We still have a lot of the equipment here to do it, and we will if we need to. But we've pulled very much back on it. We haven't put it at the forefront of our marketing. We look at jobs, we analyze them, we say this is what we're going to do, this is what we're not going to do, and we take them on demand instead of making it an additional source. It was very, very good for us last year because of COVID and being able to work outside and not have customers next to us and not having the risk on both sides to be able to do it. But we opted out of it this year for the most part, because we couldn't meet our demands. We knew that our core business is a tile and grout cleaning business that happens to clean carpets and rugs, which we can do in pretty much all weather, barring you have some tremendous rain coming down or the heat is just extreme or the cold is extreme in the winter. We can work any day with that because we're working in a house. We're setting up things on our truck. Everything goes back out to the truck. It's a truck-mounted system that we can go back and forth and still work every day. Well, that's manageable, and we can do that, and we can build up our business. Our core business, New Jersey's Best, is a hard surface cleaning business. Now, why am I going down that road? Because we can maintain a sense of urgency that we happen to go out and clean tile and grout and stone and things first and foremost. And then we do other things like rugs, sometimes area rugs if we can do them in a house. Upholstery, certainly we can do in a house. Some blinds and things like that we can do in a house. But we maintain that there's a sense of urgency that those hard surface floors, that's what we do more than anything. That is probably one of the hardest and most involved things we do. Some of the upholstery cleaning can be complicated, but I'd say generally stone identification, cleaning method, and how we do it, and where water goes, and our dwell time, and the attention to detail to get every line as clean as humanly possible, whether we're cleaning it only, which is most of what we do, or putting some kind of sealant, whether it's a clear sealant or a color sealant on the floors. That's a big part of it. We can manage those expectations, and that's how we maintain this sense of urgency to do the job. When you're dealing with your customers and you're dealing with your potential customers out there, they're thinking about how you're going to do it. They have this naturally suspicious mind just because they've probably been burned in the past of when you can meet the demands, when you can do something, and it's quite often we hear, I'll be there Tuesday. Tuesday comes and goes and nobody shows up. And it leaves a very bad taste in their mouth because they expected, or they probably took time off or made sure that they had somebody at home to do the job when you said you were going to be able to be there. So is a sense of urgency important today? I think it's just as important as ever because, again, people are looking at the instant gratification. They're looking at their fact that they can order things online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and that they will have it in a timely manner. And if they happen to purchase it from companies such as Amazon, they're getting it pretty fast, especially if you're on Prime. You overnight it quite often. So they're used to getting things much quicker and at a sense of urgency, and that's why companies like Amazon have grown to the level they've been able to grow. It's not a cost issue because you will probably buy the products less expensive somewhere other than Amazon. You'll just get them much faster and in a timely manner. So they are looking for convenience. They're looking for a sense of urgency. They are looking for what is best for them when it comes to the work that they hire you for. So if your service business is not capitalizing upon a sense of urgency to get back to people, that it's no big deal, I think you're going to be put out of business in the near future. I think you're going to have COVID has pulled it back because expectations have been pulled back because you can't do certain things. Or, of course, people hid behind COVID for the year or two, whatever it was. They were year and 3 months, whatever. They were hiding behind it, that they don't have to provide that because now we can hide under the blanket of COVID. Those days are gone. All right. We're roaring back now as a country. Things are coming back. And that's resilient. That's what Americans are. And any country that's listening to this has a resilient mindset went to it. That's why you would listen to a podcast like this, is you have that resilient mindset to survive and to grow and to thrive and to be a hard worker. So keep in mind, people are used to this, and if you don't provide it to them, they're going to go to other companies like ourselves and other companies that value the customer's sense of time and urgency. I'm going to leave you with one quick final story. I had a partner in New York, John, wonderful guy. You'll hear me use him from time to time. But John and I were like in this show called The Odd Couple back in the day. There was Oscar and Felix. Felix was very detail-oriented, on-time, multitasker. Oscar was the life of the party. But people loved him because Oscar was just that likable guy. It doesn't mean Felix wasn't likable. Just Felix didn't have the personality necessarily to be all out there, which my partner did. The only thing he didn't have that we didn't share is the fact that he had a sense of urgency. When I moved to New York to work with him and to partner with him, he said, listen, this is New York. You can't control too many things there. And he's right for the most part. You can't control how traffic is going to flow. You can't control how things are going to go. But you can also plan things in advance and say, okay, what if? We know if we need to be at a job at 9 o'clock and we're leaving Long Island, we got to be in Brooklyn. There's a good chance we got to leave at 7:30. Is it way early? It's possible it's way early. But we got to prepare, leaving whatever that time is ahead of time to make sure we can meet the job, meet the customer, especially if we're meeting somebody on a larger restoration job or something and they had to leave for work. They said, I got to leave at 9 o'clock. You got to be here at 8:45 to review the job with me. You knew you had to leave early in order to get there because they were not going to stay. They couldn't stay. So you couldn't leave that as a viable option. Yes, in New York, it's more accepted that you're going to be late because it's the norm. You can't control the traffic or flow of traffic. It's too congested, too populated. There's many variables, and he's right about that. However, it was unacceptable to me to let that be the norm, that we show up whenever we showed up. We show up at 2, we show up at 3. We don't know, but we don't really know. Can't do that. We got to show up when it's correct for our customers, when it's convenient for them. And that sense of urgency yielded us a lot of great relationships in New York, and I have a lot of great relationships with the business in New Jersey and in my coaching consulting business, because when I tell you I'm going to get back to you, I get back to you. When I set up an appointment with you, whether it's a Zoom call as a customer or client, we actually have all clients here when it comes to the Robmlyon stuff. I get back to you. It's pre-scheduled. It's done. It's communicated at 15 minutes in advance that we're getting ready for the call, and we're going to do whatever we got to do from that standpoint on. So a sense of urgency is a tremendous tool in the toolbox of success in a business. Making sure that you do get back to people in a timely manner, that you do get it over to them, even if they don't accept it. That's fine. When we do estimates and set them out the same day on the job site. Why? Because 10 minutes down the road, something else could come in and it changes it. So when we go out and look at a job site and do an estimate or a scope onto it, we write the estimate right there on the job site and get it immediately out to them. And that way they can never say we didn't send it to them. And we can never say we got too busy doing something else, and then by the end of the day, it got forgotten about. All right, guys. Again, think about a sense of urgency. Do you have it in your business? Do you have it in your life? Do you have a sense of urgency when it comes to your customers and giving them what they are looking for and, honestly, what they're getting used to? All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Service Without Excuses podcast. Again, please check out Sotellus.com/Robmlyon, Roblyon, like the city in France, not like the king of the jungle, Lyon, Rob M. Lyon. And you can go to Sotellus.com/Robmlyon. Check us out. Subscribe to our email, to our YouTube channel, and to wherever you listen to podcasts, and also get signed up on our email list. We have a ton of good stuff that goes out. Again, when we interview a lot of our podcast guests, they give us content and value that we can give to you too as well. And in growing this, that's what I wanted to be out there. I wanted things that we could trade and learn and help each other with. And again, being on an email list is huge. You definitely get a great benefit from it, including an ebook and a whole bunch of other stuff that comes from us. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you very soon for another episode of the Service Without Excuses podcast. Have a great day.